Hello and welcome to Music Monday Interlude. I'm Jean Lemmenes, and this is our last installment of interviews with past artistic directors of the Holland Chorale. Today we welcome Cal Langejans. We saved the best for last. Cal, welcome to Music Monday.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. How many years were you the artistic director of the Holland Chorale, Cal?
Well, I started, of course, in 1960, 59-60, so retired in 2000, so it's 40 years. We had a big celebration at the end of the 40th year, because that is a long time.
Yeah.
Now, actually, the chorale started as a group of men and then women and then together, but it's continuous history, so we date it back to 1959-60.
Wow. I just love hearing about the history of the chorale, and give us a little bit more about the history.
Well, I went from Hope College directly to University of Michigan, and when I got out there, I was given the opportunity to direct a male chorus in Hudsonville that my brother-in-law sang called Hudsonville Male Chorus. So young and fresh out of school, thinking I know everything, but really didn't know anything. I went there and did that, and we had a good season, but I began to think that, I began to enjoy the male chorus medium. And I had several church choirs before that, so even though I was an instrumental major, I did a lot of choirs. So I passed the word around a little bit, and one Sunday afternoon at Bethany Church on 32nd Street, we had a meeting of any guys who might be interested, and we had 16 or 18 guys there. So we started with the male chorus. Now, if I do it over again, I would start as a mixed chorus, but things were different.
Right.
Male chorus was a big thing then.
Yeah,
More so than now.
It was. So how did it work out that with the Holland Chorale that the women became, when did that happen, when the women became part of it?
Once we got going, and it became obvious to me that I want to expand this thing if I can. So we started a group of women, and at that time the men were kind of protective of the men's chorus sound.
Right.
It's true, most churches have a men's chorus.
Right.
And so we started a women's chorus on its own.
Yep.
The Bel Canto Singers. And there were many more women, of course, to choose from. Women came out of the woodwork. There were all kinds of women that came. And I might say that we started with auditions right from the beginning. We did that with the men too, which was not popular, but we did it. And so back then, the #1 outlet was what we called the Sacred Concert Series. It's hard to imagine that now, but on Sunday nights, most of the churches in the Holland area had evening services. And then right after the evening service, we would do a program. And we did it with men, we did it with women, 1 or 2 a month. And then we also did a spring concert and a fall concert, that kind of stuff. But I was a busy boy because I had to do it with the women and I had to do it with the men. Well, that didn't last very many years. And almost from the beginning, we said, we got to put these two groups together.
Right.
So we did.
Yes.
And did SATB music from the beginning, almost from the very beginning.
Right. And you did this all while you were teaching in the public schools.
I was teaching full-time at West Ottawa, and I was given the responsibility of starting a music program at West Ottawa.
Wow.
So that was a big job. And I was a very busy boy, but I enjoyed being busy. And my dear wife was extra good at handling all this home stuff.
Right, right.
Although I was home more than you might think. But anyway, it all came at once. And once we got the women and the men together, it just blossomed right away.
Yeah.
And we started doing more stuff. And then I don't know what year it was, but before long, I said, we've got to start doing some really imaginative stuff, because this was a good group. So we started doing the sections of the Bach Christmas Oratorio every Christmas. I put together an orchestra of a lot of the people that are now in the Holland Symphony, some of them.
And that was how the symphony really.
That was how the symphony started, right?
Yes.
And so every year then we used the symphony with the choir, which was men and women, but we would do things for women only and for men only also some of the time. And it's amazing how a piece like the Bach Christmas Oratorio really survived several years, over and over again. And
It was a highlight that people looked forward to, right?
It was a very spectacular piece with piccolo trumpets and whatnot.
Right.
And so it
Right.
took a lot of work, but we did that. Then after that, we just continued to go on, and we continued to take opportunities as they came.
Right.
And then some of to where it got to the point where it is now.
Yeah. If you could name just one or two highlights from your tenure with the chorale, what would you say?
Highlights. I could talk for a couple of hours on that, but I guess I have to point to two things. The start of March Festival of the Arts was probably a big highlight, and the Arts Council, Michigan Arts Council, where we always got a grant every year from them, always said, "Why are you doing this and not the Holland Area Arts Council?" But I was on that too, so we got through that. And March Festival became a very large thing. We got major worldwide guest artists like Sir David Wilcox, who was number one in the world at that time, from England. We had John Rutter, we had Greg Smith, we had all these would come in, and they would do a program with the Holland Chorale, but they would also go in the schools.
Right.
And then the other thing would be all the times we sang for the ACDA conventions. I was very active in ACDA. I was the Michigan person for community choirs for many years. And we would send an audition tape in. And then the highlight of that were the two programs we did at DeVos Hall, one with the Kalamazoo Symphony, one with the Grand Rapids Symphony. And we did the major performance at the Central Division ACDA convention. That's much broader than Michigan. That's a broad part of the United States.
Right.
And that was a wonderful, wonderful highlight.
Yeah. So many memories.
Oh, there's endless memories.
Now, there have been many things that you've been doing since then. What are some of the things that you've been doing to highlight your retirement years?
Well, I very soon after I retired, I became very active at Evergreen Commons.
Correct.
I didn't have an awful lot of time to spend there before that, but then I started doing whatever they had to offer, exercises and whatnot. And people began to talk, and some of them were former chorale members. We should do a choir here.
Right.
I said, no, I had enough of that. But then we decided to start that. So on a very memorable date, 9/11, the day the planes hit the towers was the day we started.
Oh, that is a memorable day.
So we had a little gathering of people, and so I started the Evergreen Chorale and did that for 15 years. Okay. So the Holland Chorale for 40, and then the Evergreen for 15, and then from then on, during that I did an occasional thing with church choirs. I did guest, I did a major festival for the Grand Rapids Catholic Church choirs, and several things like that. I kept plenty busy enough.
Yeah. You know, when I think about how music is an important aspect, an important part of West Michigan, and how it's flourished over the years, I think people just think of Cal Langejans. I do. In the Holland area, you have been such an important part of it, and you still are. And that is so wonderful. And if you could give some words of encouragement to the Holland Chorale in the years ahead, what would you say?
Well, the reason my name is identified with that so much is because more of March Festival than anything, because we had 70 some concerts in a year, and every single school, elementary, middle school, and high school, and the Sentinel and the radios gave us tremendous coverage, so that came in a lot. So if I had any advice for that, that's kind of presumptuous for me to do that, but I would say to become very active in the ACDA. Now, I don't know how active Patrick is. I know he's a member. I don't know how active he is. But to be very active and get some audition tapes going. The Holland Chorale right now is excellent, very, very good, and will be accepted for sure. Staying in the Michigan convention, maybe the Central Division, maybe even a national convention. We sang for a national convention of the Music Educators National Conference, which is even a larger group. So it can be done. And that gives a lot of incentive to the members to do things. It gives the membership a lot of feeling. I would say anything that can develop the family type feeling. I would say concentrate on the conferences. The fall conference that we did was the key the key to what happened, because we went to Camp Geneva from for several days, and some of us stayed overnight. We had campfires and 1,000 memories, and it developed a family atmosphere that was really something, and that would be nice to try to get that going. So I would suggest do as much as possible in the national scene with ACDA, and try to get that family feeling to go as much as it's hard to do, but
It is,
especially in today's society where everybody's going so many directions at once.
Yeah, and that's so often why things change.
Things change dramatically.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a little presumptuous of me to say that, but it's you asked, and that's my answer.
Right. No, thank you so much, Cal. It has been a really great experience to sit here with you and to talk and to hear history, and to be able to share with everyone who's listening in this interview what has been the journey of the Holland Chorale over the years, and just to spend some quality time with you today. I really appreciate it.
I enjoyed this immensely, and I would welcome any chance to talk about that history anytime.
So thank you to Cal, and thank you to all of you
Thank you
for listening.